and welcome to a quick overview of the KALPA PDMS, or Professional Development Management System. KALPA is a web-based software product which we offer as a software as a service, which means it is an internet-based product that you access through a web browser from any internet-connected device. So that could be a laptop or a desktop computer, but it could also be a smartphone or a tablet. It works on Macs, PCs, all the various browsers. Basically, all you need to have to connect to KALPA is an internet-enabled device, and teachers and administrators can access their professional development functions. We're going to start by looking at a teacher and see what it looks like from a teacher's perspective. I'm going to point out some key features of KALPA as we go through the product. So we are looking at a professional development plan for a teacher. This particular teacher, his name is Johnny Appleseed, and he is a teacher in the KALPA Demo School District, which you can see at the top here. And we are looking at Johnny's professional development plan. So this is for the 2016-2017 school year, although all of the various school years for which this particular district has been using KALPA are available. So teachers can go back and look at and print and access their professional development plan for previous years. They typically look at it for the current school year. And in this case, this is 2016-2017. So when you look at a teacher's professional development plan, you see a variety of professional development activities. And all of these activities are grouped under what we would call a requirement. So one of the key differences between a professional development management system, or a PDMS, and a simple registration tool is that we've created a series of requirements which we're tracking towards. And we set up the system so that only certain PD activities are able to increment or qualify for certain requirements. So in this particular case, Johnny Appleseed has an annual professional development requirement. He's required to get 30 hours of professional development. He's already taken 57.5 hours of PD, which, by the way, is very common. A lot of teachers get way more PD than they are required to get when you're tracking it correctly. You'll see that. And you can click on the name of the requirement to see more detail about a particular requirement. So when we work with you through the implementation process, we will work to understand what kind of PD you want to track, what your individual requirements are, and we adapt the system to fit to your particular types of PD. So we'll work with you to configure it so we're tracking just the type of PD that you'd like to track. You'll also notice that we have these tag totals on the right side. Not all of the PD has this little green square next to it, but those that do also total up here. 32 hours of PD have this green DPPD tag. So, PD is tracked in different ways in different states, but this particular district is set up for a typical Michigan district. And in Michigan, teachers can use some of the PD they take annually to qualify for DPPD, which is the term Michigan teachers use to indicate which professional development can be used to renew their teaching certificate. So not all PD is DPPD, and you can see just the stuff that has this green tag next to it qualifies for DPPD. But if that PD has been marked as taken, it totals here. So not only has this teacher finished 57.5 hours of PD in total, 32 of those hours have qualified for DPPD. So when we look at a teacher's PD plan, all of the PD that's grouped under a particular requirement aligns with that particular requirement. And we're tracking things like the course, the name of the course, the date, the time, the location of that activity, the status. And statuses are things like registered, taken, not taken, canceled. And you can see some of those statuses are displayed here. If I click on the course name, I'll see the details about a particular course, the date, the time, the location, who the instructor is, a description of that PD activity. You can add attachments, so workbooks and agendas and things like that can be included. And you can see how that PD activity has been set up to, which requirements it's been aligned with. And so this is all that the PD that this particular teacher has taken. One has a kind of a blue background. This indicates that this particular PD activity is what we call a special request. I'm going to do a whole nother video about special requests and how those work in KALPA, so we won't get into that detail now. You'll notice that some of those PD activities have a gray background. That means this was actually pushed or pre-registered into this teacher's plan for them. So in many districts, and maybe most districts, PD activities can be broken into district in-service days, late start, and early release days that are built into the school calendar. And so we don't necessarily have to have teachers register to attend PD that we know that they're required to attend. We can actually put that into their plan for them. So in this case, anything with a gray background has been pushed or pre-registered into a teacher's plan. And then anything with a white background is something that the teacher registered for themselves. And I'm going to show you how teachers can look at the online catalog of professional development and register themselves for professional development. And we'll do another video on how the push, the pre-register process works and how the special request process works. So how do teachers get stuff in their professional development plan? Well, they can click this registration button. They can search for professional development they'd like to take. So they can do keyword searches to find PD that's related to certain keywords. You can filter by date and time. So if you're looking for PD at a certain in a certain date window, you can do that. You can also filter. So you could say, I'm only looking for professional development that meets a particular PD requirement. Or you could even say, I'm only looking for PD that is DPPD eligible. Teachers can see the PD activities that are available, the date, the time. They can see how many teachers are allowed to attend the class. So KALPA allows us to set a limit to the number of teachers that can register for a particular session. And they can't see who, but they can see how many people are enrolled in a particular session. They can click this register button to add it to their professional development plan, or they can click this the detail and see, again, the date, the time, location of the PD activity, and then they can determine if they want to register for it, and if they do, they can just click this register button. Once they register for a PD activity, it gets added to their professional development plan with a status of registered. The teachers get automatic email reminders when they're registered for a PD activity of an upcoming PD activity, and then after the date of that PD activity, they might get an email indicating they need to log into KALPA and update their professional development plan, or maybe to complete a survey in order to get credit for that PD activity. So that and of course there's a bunch of administrative reports and other things that administrators can do to track and review professional development. There's also a principal's view or supervisor view that allows supervisors and principals to look at and track the professional development for the staff that works for them. So that is a very quick overview of the KALPA Professional Development Plan system, and we will get into more detail about the special request process, how you set up courses, and how you push and validate attendance in some separate videos. So thank you for joining me today, and hopefully you'll get a chance to take a look at the other videos. Thank you.